Now, welcome back. Now, for the 2021-2022 season, Kasoma Paulino finished third in the APGA Tour Collegiate Rankings, earning him playing status on the APGA Tour for the rest of the 2022 year and automatic qualification for the 2023 season, opening APGA Tour Farmers Insurance Invitational at Torrey Pines. Now, Kasoma Paulino is currently joining us in studio to tell us more about himself and his journey with the game of golf. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
Okay, let's get right into it. How did you start with golf?
When I was about 8 years old, my father took my brother and I Bonnie to the golf course just to go have a little bit of fun and just to see, a different side of sports. And from that very moment, that's when, I fell in love with the game. It was just a very calm sport, so it was a good start to a career, I would say.
Okay. Besides that first moment when you fell in love with the game of golf and when your father took you to the course, have you perhaps had any mentors that have helped you along the way?
I did have some mentors that helped me along the way, especially here in Namibia. The late Adri Basson, he used to be an older member at the golf club. He was a professional back in the day as well. He would always stop and watch me hit a couple golf balls and would just tell me to keep going, motivate me, and that was very, very nice to have. But I also had a coach when I was younger. His name is Jaco van Heerden. He got me started with the game, helped me with my swing, and just guided me in the right direction with the sport. So yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about, besides you falling in love with the game at the first time when you saw it, what else triggered that interest or brought you to just simply fall in love with the game?
The fact that you are out there on the golf course and you are playing the sport for yourself, by yourself, just gave me a sense of belonging because, I didn't have to depend on anybody else. I was out there on my own, doing my own thing. So I felt peace at mind. Just being on the golf course, you could clear your mind, and just being out in the nature and just, getting to observe and appreciate everything around you is just another thing that just makes golf all that much better.
Okay. Do you perhaps ever go back to the course where it all started or the community where it all started?
I do.
Just reflect?
Yeah, no, I do go back. I started playing golf at Windhoek Golf and Country Club, and I go back often whenever I'm back in the country because I started there, and it's also it's the only golf course available in Windhoek to go and practice. So I go there often. I like to play the golf course. It's looking a lot better now than it has in a long time. So it's good to go back and just to see how the game has grown in Windhoek as well, in Namibia in general.
Now, for a person of color perhaps that might be watching you right now in terms of this interview, saying what must be possibly be in the golf, the idea of having a metal item that is hitting sort of a dynamite of a ball and then going up in there. What satisfaction do you get from that, and why should people of color be interested in playing such a sport code, which is most person who clarify to say perhaps maybe it's of those that are well better off?
I would say golf should not be looked at from that point of view. It's just a sport that can bring people to come and be together, have a good time out there. But the biggest thing is it's a challenge. You need to try and beat yourself because at the end of the day, you're using a golf club to hit a little white ball around a field. What fun is that in there? But if you can accomplish that, if you can defeat the odds, then you find a sense of enjoyment at the end of the day as well.
Okay. Now let's talk about the fact that, are you planning on perhaps playing full-time at APGA Tour level? Or?
I would love to play full-time on the APGA Tour. It's the APGA Tour is based in the United States. It's a minority-based tour. They provide chances and opportunities for minorities to play at a high level. Unfortunately, with that come expenses, and so getting back to the United States would be my first step, and then retaining my status, which I have for the 2023 season, would be the next step. But if I could get the chance to go back and see if I can, play the best that I can, perhaps get some opportunities to get onto another different level, maybe the PGA Tour tournament or Corn Ferry Tour tournament, that would be ideal for me.
Okay. Now, when you're talking about if it will probably be ideal, I presume perhaps there might be some stumbling blocks that are making it difficult for you to pursue that full-time career. What are those stumbling blocks?
The biggest stumbling block when it comes to golf is just the fact that the sport is expensive. It costs an arm and a leg just to play, a handful of tournaments throughout the year. And to be able to maintain your status on the tour, you need to play a certain amount of events. And so there's just the costs that are associated with it. And also another stumbling block is just being away from home, being away from Namibia, being away from family. It's just, it takes a toll on your mental side. But if you push and you work hard, you can always overcome anything that you put your mind to.
Okay. Let's talk about your most successful moment in terms when you started playing golf. What moment stood out the most for you?
I think I have a few. I would say going to the biggest one was going to the UK to go play in the British Junior Open. I was about 16 years old. My father went with me, but I was representing Namibia, and I got to play in this event where I made the cut. And I got to go witness the professionals play at the British Open as well. And then another accomplishment of mine would be winning the Namibia Junior Open when I was 18. It was my last junior tournament in the country. And that was just something that helped me get ready for what was to come for college golf, and then, the future ahead.
Okay. Isn't there a possibility perhaps in terms when you're playing golf, especially if you get an opportunity to go back to the US, to be on scholarship in order to play professional golf?
Yes, so the opportunities are out there. We reach out to companies to see if they are willing to sponsor, to give anything that they can just to help support me and my endeavors. It doesn't have to be, the full amount, but it's just to give some kind of support. And through that, I would be representing you and your company anywhere I go, on my clothes, on my hats, on my social media, just because I would be proud to represent you as you sponsor me.
Okay. Now let's talk about some of maybe the challenges that you've found as you progressed in the game of golf. Besides, obviously, the issue of financial backing that you need, what are some of the other challenges?
Some of the biggest challenges in golf are figuring out the game itself. So golf is a very difficult sport. If you don't have a swing coach, somebody to help you with your swing in general, it's difficult to do it on your own because you think that you know what you're doing, but at the end of the day, it takes a second pair of eyes to understand what is the wrong move that you're doing and how you can fix that. And then other challenges are just like the mental side of sport, because you put in so much work you put in so many hours just to play, one day, and if it doesn't work out, you go down on yourself, you're upset. But then, you need to know that the hard work will pay off if you keep going.
Okay. Now, for those that may be watching, I've always wanted to find out, when a commentator says 9 under par, what does that mean? One has a minor score and then they are the ones leading, all these technicalities.
Yeah.
Maybe just explain to us what these technicalities mean.
So in golf, there's, the amount of shots that you take to get into the hole have a different name, number per se. So in general, a par is usually the number of strokes that it takes. It's supposed to take you to get the ball in the hole. So you have a par 4, and it's supposed to take you 4 strokes to get into the hole. Now, if you take it in 3, you make a birdie, and then you go 1 under. So each time you go 1 under the par, you go, further down. So you add a minus. So you go 1 under, 2 under, 3 under. But if you make a 5 instead of a 4, you go 1 over, and then you go 2 over, 3 over, 4 over.
So what if the first time shot that I take for each hole is when I put it in the hole? Then what?
Then you're a really good golfer at that point. Then
Okay.
you're very talented, because that's a hole-in-one, and that's very hard to accomplish.
Okay. Let's talk about perhaps, besides the financial challenges, obviously, that you're also experiencing, have you looked at the prospects of just playing beyond the APG Tour, especially considering that it's for minorities, and maybe playing in the main league where, other than where you'll be classified because of your ethnicity or your skin color?
Yes, I have brought up that that topic with my family, and the biggest opportunity for me right now at the level that I am would be the Sunshine Tour in South Africa. The Sunshine Tour is not a minority-based tour. It's the premier tour in Africa, and so that would be a step that would be in the right direction. But at the end of the day, the main goal is to make it to the bigger tours, which is the European Tour or the PGA Tour. And just to get there would be an accomplishment on itself. So that's the end goal at the end of the day, yeah.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for making time to join us this morning, and definitely we wish you all the best. Although perhaps maybe we are not able to give you much, know that we are definitely behind you and we'll keep watching.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Okay.